Are you concerned that Sean Diddy Combs could be sexually assaulted, violently assaulted? Is that a thing? Because based on what was said in court, it feels like a thing.
Yeah, it clearly is a thing. I mean, they're already, and he did not want to make a big deal of it. They already tried to shank it once at the MDC, and that was thwarted. And it happens in prison. I mean, you and I could tick off how many times we are aware of somebody getting seriously injured or killed in prison, and so they're going to have to keep him somewhere that they can keep an eye on him. It would have obviously been better if he had gotten less time and had been at a camp. But he's going to be in a facility where somebody's going to have to, from the BOP, and I think they're well equipped to do it if they can, to keep an eye on him because he is a.
Mark Garagos, Diddy's lawyer, did not dance around the reality of the situation. He made it clear that Diddy is already being treated as a target. In fact, Garagos revealed that there was an incident where someone attempted to attack Diddy with a weapon while he was being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center. The attempt failed, but the message was unmistakable. Someone tried, and that alone changes everything about how his situation is viewed. Because of that, it comes as no surprise that Diddy is now desperately asking for help.
So Diddy had said in the documentary, he had said, I'm doing what God told me to do.
Yeah.
So he was basically saying his actions were ordained by our Father. And that kind of basically over law and man gave him the okay to do technically what he felt was right.
And
With
yet
the shirt,
God said no.
yeah, right. So with the shirt itself, God said no. Do you feel like after, because this, of course, that video was made prior to his, the verdict and things of that nature. Do you feel like he himself would be on the same thought process that, God is still telling him to, do as he is, do as he moves? Of course, God is telling everyone to do it, but for him to be able to have that same conviction on that video, do you think he'll be on the same motion as of now?
Well, see, that's the thing. It all depends on who you call God. I know some little weirdo who's on the cover of Forbes for, being a faithful servant to the God that he serves. He calls himself a God. I know plenty of people that say the word God, but just because you say the word God doesn't mean we're all serving the same entity. The question is who's serving the right God?
Hey,
That's the real question. I've been having conversations about this very interesting, back tattoo, which is an abomination in itself. Zoe Dantor, I was just talking to everyone about how he pretty much turned it into a demonic symbol, and he's been pimping that whole thing because for those who know the Orishas, that particular Orisha is supposed to be the protector of women and children.
Wow.
Why would someone like him have that tattoo on his back?
Garagos explained that this kind of danger is not unusual inside prison walls. People get hurt, people get killed, and when someone is high profile, well-known, and wealthy, the risk increases dramatically. According to him, authorities may have no choice but to keep Diddy under heightened supervision, not because he is asking for special treatment, but because the threat against him is real. Jaguar Wright has also weighed in, questioning how someone who once spoke with absolute confidence about his choices would feel now that all control has been stripped away.
I don't know if anybody's paying attention to the fact that almost every Diddy documentary that's out, he's in it.
He is. He wasn't in this one, though.
Huh? Oh, no, he was in this one.
Oh, he was. You're correct. You are correct. He was
in this one. He was sitting there smiling with a shit-eating grin, while Diddy is sitting there telling him that he is the gold standard of Black excellence and how he's writing the price point for our people. And he's just so happy to be there and listen to this demon run his face when he knows exactly what's going on. And it's really wild because I was listening not long, actually during the trial, he did a whole video calling me a liar and telling people why they shouldn't believe me. And he uses the same style of disinformation. It's like very interesting. Like he's got a style when he's doing his disinformation, when he's trying to get people to unbelieve what they saw.
She pointed out that when the doors close, there is no stage, no audience, and no power structure left to hide behind. In her view, that reality is something Diddy was never truly prepared for. Jaguar went further, openly mocking the public relations narratives that once surrounded him. She rejected any attempt to frame him as a man of faith, claiming instead that he worshipped power and darkness, not God. In her opinion, the image that was sold to the public for years completely collapses once the spotlight disappears.
Jimmy Henchman? Jimmy
Yeah,
Henchman,
he
yes.
was bringing up Jimmy Henchman and all of this and all of that. And it's so funny because everything that he's saying is true, except for he left out one key part. Jimmy the Henchman did plenty of business with Diddy. Not just Diddy. I could think of a couple other records he did some dirty work for as well. And it's just so funny that he decided to start off by saying, oh, see, this was wrong. And they tried to get you to believe this and they tried to get you to believe that, except for that connecting part. And then the simple fact that you have Keefe D saying that he was contracted to handle up. So clearly, we're talking about the kind of situations where someone is using someone by proxy to handle their business for them. Now, of course, all of this is alleged. Keefe D, it's really strange. Keefe D, I'll never forget because I went out to Vegas to cover his trial. I had a press pass. I was going to be in there the whole 9 yards, but they kept pushing everything back and pushing everything back. And then he got attacked just like Tory Lanez did, and everything went all to hell. Isn't it wild that he's been in there since 2023 and we're still waiting for his trial to come up in 2026? Puff didn't get pinched until a year after him and managed to get to trial and get through trial and get sentenced and get to serving his time before Keefe D. Keefe D is since 2023.
He must not have the right to a speedy. They must have skipped that part.
Right to a speedy trial. I remember when I first got out there and he couldn't get a pay lawyer to represent him. He was dealing with a public defender. I rode in the elevator with a public defender twice. And he had money. Nobody would take his case.
Wow.
The word literally went out into the street to not take his case, to leave him in their hands.
He also criticized the way the 50 Cent-backed documentary framed the story, arguing that it positioned Diddy as the sole villain while quietly erasing others who were involved behind the scenes. According to Jaguar, that imbalance does not protect him at all. Instead, it isolates him. And isolation, especially in a place like prison, can be extremely dangerous. Jaguar acknowledged that some of the points raised in those videos were not false, particularly when the conversation turned to the Quad Studio shooting and the role of Jimmy Henchman.
This documentary, if you didn't hate Diddy, it will make sure that you did. What I hate about it is how sanitized it is. And that's what I've been saying all along. It's sanitized. It's set up to make it seem like Diddy is the only bad guy when it's keeping out a lot of other people that were involved who had their hands involved in all kinds of things, which also makes it vulnerable for people to go after it. Like I said, it's very clever. It's very, very, very clever.
Now we
It's
have
just
to.
enough to make you hate the whole situation, but there's just enough misplaced and put in the wrong situation and this added here and this for you to be able to still have reasonable doubt on whether or not any of this stuff is real. Yeah, it's clever.
Would you call the documentary educational, informational, entertaining? Like what would you say this documentary?
Gaslighting.
Gaslighting.
And it's sad because there's a lot of stuff in there that's true. but there's enough left out to create doubt. And that's the same thing that happened with the trial. Actually, with the trial, it was a lot worse because with the trial, there was just a lot of stuff left out. There was more stuff in this documentary that was in the trial. Half of the stuff in this documentary should have been presented at the trial. Can you imagine if they had had any testimony from Little Rod and the footage that he had from that incident, that firearm incident where the guy G was damn near mortally wounded and was losing his life, and the footage that he had from that? Can you imagine if that had been shown to the jury?
She admitted that much of what was said was technically accurate, but she insisted that something crucial was missing. That missing element, according to her, was context. She argued that events like those were not random and should not be treated as isolated moments. In her words, they were messages, part of a larger structure that never gets fully explained.
He announced that he was going to be doing this documentary before the arrest, which is kind of interesting when you think about it, because the footage that he used, that he featured in this documentary, happened after he announced he was going to be doing the documentary.
Yeah. Yeah.
How lucky was that? What a find.
So
What a find that was. Like, let's think about that. He announced he was going to be doing the documentary December 2023 with Netflix. And the star footage that you use to get people to re-upload or resubscribe to Netflix to make this the #1 in their TV shows division for almost 2 weeks straight, beating out Stranger Things. How much stranger is that?
I'm not
You,
Beckham.
this footage didn't even exist when you said you were going to be doing this documentary. So we've got a videographer, a rogue videographer that has this very, very, very explosive, very explosive footage of him literally sitting on camera, planning how to go after survivors, how to poison the jury pool, how to fix his trial in advance before he's even arrested. I mean, like, is anybody not forgetting when Mark Garrett, when Garrett, no, not Garrett, when Mark Agnifilo was sitting there talking to the sons in the hallway, and they're sitting there filming, and he's sitting up there. Yeah, well, see, what we got to do is we got to go and we got to put counter suits on all of these people. We have to create lawsuits ourselves.
Turning to the documentary, Jaguar said her biggest issue was not what was shown, but what was deliberately left out. By presenting one man as the center of everything while quietly removing others from the narrative, the story becomes polished and controlled. And in her view, that kind of storytelling is dangerous because isolating one person as the villain does not expose the full truth. It simply creates a target.
He did, man. Yeah, he got everybody going, man. He's getting a lot of backlash, man. Like, people are like mad at 50 for getting behind this thing.
Well, see, the thing about it is that people are out there rabbit mind, and they gonna sit up here and they gonna say some stuff like, they try to make it up like, it's because of a girl, it's because of a woman. A man that can have any woman in the damn world, you understand, go any parts of the world, find beautiful women all over the world, that's willing to do whatever he wants to. I'ma be mad because this dude got this one? Nah. It's bigger and it's more than that. They don't want to say it. A lot of these cats out here don't want to tell the truth behind shit. You understand?
Jaguar Wright questioned the timing of everything. She asked why so much information suddenly surfaced after the verdict and after sentencing. Why was a documentary announced nearly a year before the trial even began, before raids, before arrests, and yet somehow it ended up containing footage that supposedly did not even exist at the time the announcement was made? To her, that did not feel like coincidence or luck. It felt planned. Jaguar also pointed to how public perception appeared to be managed behind the scenes. She referenced footage that showed legal strategy being openly discussed, conversations about filing counterclaims, shaping headlines, and influencing how the public would interpret the situation, all before charges were ever filed.
Take you out of here, try to stop you from eating and everything like that. Diddy was a part of that too. He was a part of that. Because he was telling the executives and people, don't mess with him. Just picture this, bro. He knew he could write. He knew 50 had talent. You understand? Why 50 ain't get a deal in New York City?
Facts, yeah. They had him blackballed. I mean, I think even
They
Irv
blackballed
Gotti
him.
talked about it in an interview that he blackballed him.
Right. But hold up, it ain't only Irv Gotti, because Puff had a voice just as much, or probably more than Irv. If Puff would have said, yo, I'm going to sign this kid, who's going to stop him? Why he didn't sign him? He wrote some of his best lyrics. You understand? Let's get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the whole thing about it is, man, and now these dudes out here want to portray like I supposed to love my enemy. Man, I don't turn the cheek, all that shit like that, no Diddy. I don't turn the cheek, I don't fuck around like that. But the whole thing about it is, if in fact somebody gonna pay me to get at my enemy, and I'm gonna get a piece of that PC.
According to her, that footage briefly appeared and then vanished. Her question was simple and direct. Who lost it and who found it? That question leads to a bigger one. What could possibly motivate 50 Cent enough to go this far, to push this hard, and to seemingly try to dismantle Diddy's image completely? According to Gene Deal, the answer goes back to the very beginning of 50's career. Gene explained that early on, 50 was writing for other artists, contributing behind the scenes, and building momentum. He was widely viewed as the next major artist out of New York. Then, everything shifted.
I think that he just really is into sex. He like recording girls, and then him getting with 50 Cent's baby mother was definitely like a power move.
Oh yeah.
And then he records, so he keeps these recordings. So what I was thinking is like, what if he can be on some shit like, if he really want to get at it, like, look at your baby mama and on these dudes,
Right,
like
getting slipped out.
Yeah, getting slipped out, like to really piss him off. Like maybe I feel like sometimes, I feel like he uses the recordings for leverage, so low key.
Yeah, because I've been around Diddy before. I've been at parties with him. There's no shortage of women that are approaching him, right? So out of all the billions of women in the world, you pick the baby mother of someone who doesn't like you.
Right.
And do you feel that this was like him doing that on purpose to get back at 50?
Definitely. It was definitely like a revenge, a beef type thing to get with his baby mother, of all people.
Deals stalled, doors closed, and according to Gene, certain people helped isolate him, while others wanted him gone. From Gene's perspective, that is why 50 has never had love for Diddy. If someone helped block your career, helped freeze you out, and was connected to people who wanted you erased from the game, you do not forget that. You do not turn the other cheek, and you do not suddenly play nice. Gene also described Diddy as someone who always needed control. In his view, Diddy's actions were rarely random or driven by simple attraction. They felt calculated and strategic.
Said they told me how they met and shit, but it was like,
how did they meet?
They said they met at a party through a friend or something like that. But I mean, I guess that's Hollywood though. Hollywood, everybody know each other pretty much. But still though, you know that she knew who he was. She knew that her baby father didn't like him, and she didn't like him either. So I'm sure she got with him for a reason.
Oh, so she was doing it too.
Yeah.
Oh, they were both doing it.
They
I didn't even
both
think
like
about
the
it that
dude,
way.
so
Yeah, that's a good
they
point.
just clicked up. And like he informed me, like he had multiple girlfriends. So of course she wasn't his only girl. Like he would see her maybe a couple after a couple months, every couple months.
Well, that's just with you though. That's just with you.
Nah, he would like literally see her every couple months.
Oh, he told you that?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Because Don the Dealer was the first like threesome they had.
Uh-huh.
So, and he was he was meeting up with him on a
Mhm.
regular basis. He even mentioned after his houses were raided, he went to like the Miami mansion and met up with them again. They were
Yeah.
talking about it.
I ain't never been to the Miami mansion or nothing. I used to go to different hotels and stuff,
Mhm.
but we've met in Miami at hotels and whatnot.
Well, you guys never discussed price, but at the end you did get paid
Yeah,
the first
I
time.
got paid.
One situation stood out more than any other. Out of all the people in the world, Diddy chose to get involved with the mother of 50's child. Gene explained that this was not about a lack of options. He said he had been around Diddy at parties and saw women constantly approaching him. That is why, to Gene, the choice felt intentional. Why choose someone so closely connected to a person you already have tension with? To him, it looked like revenge, plain and simple. Gene also shared his own experiences, explaining that he never went to the big mansions. Their meetings usually happened in hotels. He said he was paid the first time.
It was about the cum shots. Like, it was definitely about the cum shots. One time, it was like, I give you 2 bands more if you do another cum shot. So it's definitely about the cum shot.
Okay. And these sessions would last like 12 hours?
Yeah, minimum.
Minimum.
Yeah.
What was the longest you went?
I mean, it usually was go from night to morning to the afternoon. I mean, I say like 16 hours. It's just like a night to day thing, night to day. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, most human beings can't have a session like that for 16 hours.
With a
Sober.
little break in between.
Well, sober.
Yeah, yeah.
And you would show up and they'd be geeked up.
Sometime. I mean, they would. It depends on what night it was. Like, I could tell when they were more geeked up than other nights, and but they were always on some type of something.
Right. And there'd be a tray of drugs in the room.
Yeah, they party hard. They party all.
And after that, the amount changed depending on how long things lasted. Some encounters stretched from night into the next day, lasting far longer than most people would expect. He described the communication as surprisingly casual. They texted like normal people. Once, when he needed help with a hotel, money was sent to him. If he was in town, they sometimes met up. One of the shortest meetings happened in Los Angeles and ended almost as quickly as it began. He also mentioned that small details felt off, even things like the marijuana, which did not taste normal to him, especially considering how familiar he was with Los Angeles.
I mean, he would be offering me like honey packs and like different dick pills, and sometimes he would offer me a pill and she would be like, nah, don't do that. Like, most of the time she didn't want me to do no drugs. I think she was kind of like protecting me from doing drugs. But I don't know what the hell they had. I mean, I seen the pills. I didn't know what the fuck it was, but I seen pink cocaine, and different pills. I don't know. And they had like juice, some juice, probably Molly water or something. I don't know.
Well,
when Gene explained his side, he did not frame it as coercion or criminal activity. He described social situations, parties, and money exchanged afterward. Nothing that felt illegal to him at the time. However, when asked if he ever felt taken advantage of, he admitted that he did. What made that feeling stronger was how quickly communication stopped once the case became public. There was no follow-up, no checking in, no sense of real connection.
Did you feel like you were exploited?
Do I feel like I was exploited? A bit, yeah.
Yeah? How so?
I mean, I feel like the love in it was I mean, because we really was very close. Like, I feel like we was real, like, having real deep conversations and and cried in front of them and
You cried in front of them.
Yeah, I cried. And I was embarrassed to say I was up at the time. I ain't gonna lie, we was drinking De Leon and
Okay.
but yeah, it's like it was kind of like I was close to I thought, but it kind of felt like fake love like after a while. But it's just I don't feel like I did everything I wanted to. I got paid for it,
but I feel like it could have been it could have been smoother. It could have been it could have been more. You know what I'm saying? It could have been a better opportunity, I feel like. And the way we used to talk, I mean, I wanted to do do other business things instead of just, being somebody they hired to fuck. So yeah, I feel like it was a bit of exploitation, and then her acting like she my girlfriend or actually care about me, and it's like, yeah, it's exploiting. Like it was fake.
Everything disappeared the moment it was no longer useful. When asked hypothetically if he would ever return if Diddy reached out years later, even with more money involved, Gene gave an answer that made people pause. Gene also addressed accusations that 50 Cent was snitching by including certain material in the documentary, especially the parts connected to Tupac Shakur and footage involving Keef D. Some people believe that material should never have been included and blame 50 directly for it.
Let's say Diddy gets out in a few years
Mm-hmm.
and he calls you up and wants to do another freak off. What would you do? And he'll double the money this time because of inflation.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Because those freak offs got you caught up in a lot of stuff afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
Gene disagreed. He said 50 did not make the final editorial decisions and that the narrative is more complicated than people want to admit. When it comes to those still defending Diddy, Gene said he used to think it was about access, proximity to power, and wanting to stay close to the lifestyle. Over time, his opinion changed. He began to believe that some people defend Diddy because they see themselves in him.
I want to say that 50 Cent did the whole documentary. He was responsible for doing the whole documentary, what goes in there and what goes out of there. Now, I don't believe that. And I don't believe that he's responsible for everything that goes in there. I don't believe he's responsible for everything that goes out of there. Guys want to say that he's snitching, you know what I'm saying, because he's telling his truth about what went down and what he saw or what he heard or whatever like that. I don't know how to love my enemy. And if I gotta put out the truth about something that he was doing and is wrong, and that was wrong, I don't have no problem with that, 50. Not a problem at all. Keep doing it. Maybe enough men come out and speak out on some bullshit.
They are not defending the man. They are defending the behavior. And now, according to Gene, that behavior is being exposed. Underscore 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 underscore. That's the breakdown. If you rocked with this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and share to support the channel. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know what part of this story stood out to you the most. Stay locked in, because this story is far from over.